Hi, everyone, and welcome to Unboxed 2023. Whether you're here in person or attending remotely, thank you so much for joining us. Over the years, our business has evolved tremendously. What started as that little white reader is now an integrated hardware, software, and financial services platform that serves sellers as large as SoFi Stadium, Shake Shack, and Blue Bottle Coffee. And we'll continue to invest in making our products more and more sophisticated to meet the complex needs of these large sellers. This is where our developer platform and our partner ecosystem shine brightest. But we started with a mission of economic empowerment, to serve the small businesses that are the cornerstones, the lifeblood, the beating heart of our economy, and that mission serves us now as much as it ever did. Growing up in a house of small business owners, I saw firsthand how painful it was to operate, to focus on all the tasks outside the main business, outside the main product or service, taking payments, reconciling, applying for loans, setting up payroll, and so much more. And that's why this mission and this company have resonated so deeply with me and why I'm honored to be here. And the work we do is materializing in massive ways. Last year, over 4 million active sellers used Square to process almost 4 billion transactions worth almost $200 billion in GPV. These are staggering figures, but we're just getting started. We're constantly listening to our sellers and looking at the broader market to determine where we should invest and what's most important. I'll focus on 3 key areas. The first is software fragmentation. Businesses, especially as they grow, use many tools to operate. And those tools often don't work well together. This fragmentation causes friction and unnecessary headaches for our businesses, and our platform strategy is central to our solution here. Whether it's powering our own products or it's helping to integrate the hundreds of third-party tools that are so critical for our sellers, we aim to reduce this friction and enable our sellers to focus on growing and operating their businesses. Second, artificial intelligence is taking us by storm. You can't really be a technologist or a human today without thinking about the way AI will impact your life. Well, it's been around for many years, and we've actually been adding AI-powered capabilities to our products for a while. The release of ChatGPT was really a watershed moment in our industry. Generative AI can fundamentally reshape the future of commerce, and we are in a unique position with our millions of sellers and our technology and the tremendous amount of data we have to serve our sellers better and to enable them to accelerate their operations. We'll be having a session focused exclusively on this shortly. And finally, the macroeconomic environment remains quite challenging. Whether it's inflation, raising cost of capital, layoffs, and so on, we're acutely aware of the hardships that many of our sellers face. And we want to offer the products and services to enable them to navigate this increasingly complex and tricky environment. Through easy access to loans and labor pools, deep insight into business operations, and more, we can help our sellers build resiliency in the face of this economic volatility. So as I mentioned, Square provides a cohesive ecosystem of integrated software, hardware, and financial services. We break that out into 4 distinct areas. The first is commerce. Commerce enables our sellers to manage the transactions and the orders. This is payments, points of sale, Square Online, and so on. Our offerings in the customers pillar enable our sellers to better manage and engage with their audience. This includes products like loyalty, gift cards, Square Marketing, and so on. Our staff solution enables them to better manage their employees with things like payroll and time cards. And our banking solutions enable them to better manage their money with products like checking, lending, and savings. But we know that we can't provide everything that every seller in every market might need. And so we offer a developer platform, obviously, with a host of APIs and SDKs that enable these sellers to customize Square and enable it to meet all the needs. We also work with a robust ecosystem of third-party developers and partners to help them meet these needs and to help us serve the diversity of sellers that we support. And our sellers really do represent a variety of industries. About 62% are in food and drink, retail, and professional services like accounting, consulting, and so on. But our presence in categories like health and fitness and home and repair is growing rapidly. So in addition to this industry diversity, we've been expanding geographically. We launched in Ireland, Spain, and France over the last 2 years to add to our presence in Canada, the UK, Australia, and Japan. And we're seeing 60% CAGR in international gross profit over the last 5 years. Now, our platform is critical here. In 2022, we saw 36% year-over-year increase in GPV flowing through our APIs from our international sellers. We're also pushing up market with our vertical points of sale and our more robust portfolio. Over the past 5 years, we've seen a 45% CAGR in gross profit from sellers who are generating over $500,000 in GPV. Now, our platform is increasingly important to these large sellers. In fact, over 50% of them that generate over $500,000 in GPV depend on the platform in some way, either directly or through a partner. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that platform. It's so instrumental to Square's growth. It really started in 2014 with the first Connect API. In 2016, we launched online payments with the Square Payment Form. And then in 2018, we really rounded out our modern omni-channel extensibility strategy with the Reader SDK. Today, we have over 50 APIs and SDKs like Terminal API, Inventory, Bookings, Orders, and so many more that are available to third parties for the increasingly sophisticated integrations that they need to build. And we're growing fast. In 2022, the GPV that flowed through the developer platform grew 29% year over year. Moreover, last year, the platform served over 1 million sellers, either directly or through partners, and overall seller use of the platform is growing almost 20% every year. And I want to tell you about two. Powder is a lifestyle company that owns and operates ski resorts like Killington and Snowbird. They use a specialized ski resort ticketing software, but need it to seamlessly integrate with the payments provider. But an important aspect of their business is that it crosses industries. They have ski resorts, obviously, they have retail, they have restaurants, and a couple others. And so given our specific retail and restaurants focus, plus our flexible platform, we worked with them to build this unified and integrated customer experience, including payments and our hardware solutions across channels and service types. The next is Hotworks. Hotworks is a technology-forward fitness franchise. They have a custom point of sale, but wanted a modern hardware solution and a seamless in-person and online checkout experience. They also wanted to get off their legacy provider that had high fees and minimal customer support. So they chose Square with our Terminal API and our Web Payments SDK to do exactly that, and they've grown from 80 to over 500 locations internationally with Square. I'll let you hear it directly from them.
For anyone who thinks that Square is only for small businesses, we're living proof that they're not. As of today, we're processing millions of dollars in revenue per day with more than 523 locations using Square. They were able to help us truly customize a solution for our franchisees with our proprietary POS system. At the rate that we were growing and scaling, Square was able to fit all of our needs and more.
So many of our largest sellers use our platform directly, but many more use it through our growing ecosystem of partners. We now have almost 1,400 partners, and it's growing at over 20% annually. But it's not the growth or quantity that we focus on. We focus on on ensuring our sellers have everything they need, whether that's services to customize Square Online, or it's custom work integrating with our APIs, or it's integrations with accounting tools, or reservation management systems, or ERPs, or practice management systems, or a plethora of other products that our sellers use every day. And many of you are here today. I want to thank you for working with Square, and thanks for helping our sellers manage, run, and grow their businesses. Now, as we look forward, there are a few key areas we'll be investing in. Ecosystem value is equal to the power of the platform times the integrations on it times the adoption of those integrations. If any of those is zero, the ecosystem brings little to no value. This is the framework we use to think about our priorities. So the first is platform depth. This is about giving richer and more powerful capabilities, new APIs that give access to important data, new ways to extend our services like Dashboard. The second is about improving access to grow the ecosystem and make those integrations easier to build and more robust. This is a key place we'll leverage AI to help partners and developers better understand what and how to build and better navigate our documentation in our platform. It's also where we'll introduce low, no-code tools to help a wider community to build the integrations they need. The third is about connecting our sellers to our partners to drive more adoption of these partner solutions. And importantly, it's about enabling those partners to build and grow their businesses on the platform. Our mission of economic empowerment has always really focused on sellers. We want to extend this to our developers and partners and enable them, you all, to monetize your work with us, whether that's through better ways for sellers to discover and use our partner solutions, or it's ways for partners to seamlessly sell their services through Square. And to give you some examples of each of these, I'll invite Mike Ward, our head of product for the developer platform, to tell you a little bit more.
Thanks, Vijay. Really excited to be here with everybody, both in person and online. I want to thank everybody for your time because I know it's really valuable. Next, I'd love to share 5 product launches our team is super excited about, and I'd love to start with Terminal API. As a lot of us know, Terminal API lets developers integrate Square in-person payments with custom applications. We can think of a custom point of sale or even an ERP system. And while Terminal has been really successful, we've spoken with sellers who want to elevate their brand's experience and get a little bit more information from their buyers at the time of checkout. Today, we're excited to meet these needs by announcing Custom Workflows Beta and the Custom Idle Screen GA available across all regions. Custom Workflows let developers trigger buyer-facing experiences. We can think of capturing a signature, gathering contact information, agreeing to custom terms of service, or even displaying a QR code for your buyers to scan. This lets us expand Terminal beyond just payments to an all-encompassing and deeply engaged checkout experience. And while we think the Square logo is pretty catchy, we're helping sellers elevate their brand with custom images in the Terminal idle screen. Each seller can customize the idle screen without code changes, making it really easy to showcase your business during checkout. We're excited for the launch. I'm looking forward to seeing how both developers and sellers use these tools to create even better checkout experiences. Tap to Pay. A lot of us are familiar with Tap to Pay, and a lot of us probably use Tap to Pay on a daily basis. It helps sellers accept contactless payments with their mobile device's NFC chip, and buyers can easily complete transactions by tapping their mobile wallet on an iPhone or Android device. Last year, we launched Tap to Pay in the United States for iPhone, and we're really excited to expand this coverage across all regions for both iPhone and Android. Our latest changes make it really easy for sellers to accept contactless payments after simply running the app on their mobile device, and we're really excited to enable Tap to Pay for even more sellers. Next, Subscriptions API updates. At Square, we aim for our APIs to be both composable and cohesive. Developers should be able to use Square's tools independently or together to enable a wide array of seller jobs. We're excited to simplify subscription management with some changes allowing even deeper integrations between subscriptions, catalog, and orders. To make it super easy to set up each subscription, developers can now attach multiple catalog items to each subscription's plan. Catalog objects can also be modified directly from the Subscriptions API, and we're reducing the number of services you need to call when updating each subscription. I know it's really tough for me when I need to call 4 different APIs to complete a single job, and we're trying to make it a little bit easier for everybody. Sometimes, along these lines, simple changes go a long way. We updated the Orders API to let you understand the state of each card payment, subscription, and more. We've heard the feedback, and I'm excited for the changes. GraphQL. We've been talking about REST, and REST is really great for domain modeling, but it's a huge pain when you need to stitch a row together from 4 or 5 different domains. A lot of data from different sources means you'll need to remember which series went with which title, and sometimes you'll mess up by incorrectly joining. GraphQL lets clients state exactly the data they want returned, introspect a schema, and verify the data they got back is valid, all in a single HTTP request. We're excited to launch GraphQL Beta, saving our developers from the rigid and monotonous tasks of getting data, munging data, and joining it together. By adding cards, inventory, payments, refunds, and improving our SLOs, we're excited to expose a full suite of domains needed to represent a seller's business. GraphQL is especially useful for mobile clients, and we can't wait to see what people build with it. Machine learning-powered app recommendations. We're part of a very noisy world. There are a lot of commerce tools available in the market, and it's really tough for sellers to know which of these tools will help their business grow. At Square, we understand the pains of being a seller, and we think that we can make this a little bit easier for our sellers. By announcing and launching app recommendations, we're improving how sellers discover the best partner solutions for their business. By surfacing recommendations directly in the seller dashboard, dashboard home, and other touch points, we're meeting sellers in their most critical decision points with the best tools for their job. And we're not just excited with the launch, we're excited with how we're doing. Instead of using an off-the-shelf regression model, testing and patting ourselves on the back, we're partnering to train many models, figure out which model is best for the given use case, fine-tune, and surface the best solutions for each seller in the right touch point. We've compared our results to traditional approaches, and we're up to 6 times more effective when connecting sellers to applications. We're excited to connect sellers with the best solutions for their business while providing our partners with first-class distribution to Square sellers. This is just a snapshot of our launches, and we'll be sharing more soon. Back to Vijay.
All right. Thank you, Mike. As he said, this is just a small snapshot of the exciting updates to the platform, and we're thrilled to bring you these and many, many more in the quarters to come. So one of the most transformative updates to our platform and to Square overall is AI, of course. As I've mentioned, we've invested a lot in AI over the years, and I'll show you 2 quick examples of products we've released in market that's leveraging this groundbreaking technology. The first is suggested actions in Square messaging to make it easier for sellers to interact with their customers with AI-generated responses. Another is AI-generated product descriptions in Square for Retail, so that sellers don't have to worry about writing details for every SKU. You can imagine how much time our merchants will save with these 2 features. There's a lot more on the horizon, and to talk a little bit more about the future of AI for Square and for our sellers, I'm going to invite Mike Wittig, our head of foundational engineering, to moderate a discussion with Alyssa Henry, our CEO, and Peter Wellender, the VP of Product and Partnerships at OpenAI. But first, we had an OpenAI hackathon a couple months ago. As Mike, Peter, and Alyssa come on stage, I'd like to show you some projects that they focused on.
Using the 3 prompts provided, the Dream Business Generator uses GPT-3 to define your branding keywords. It then leverages GPT-3 again in combination with DALL-E to generate ideas and aesthetics that feel consistent with those branding keywords. Afterwards, it produces a reasonable business plan with an estimated timeline and cost to launch.
ChatGPT allows customers to generate custom reports on the fly by asking for them in a natural, conversational way. No more fiddling around with drop-down filters, date range popovers, or anything else of the sort. With the insights our tool provides, we can give time back to our merchants while also empowering them to make fully educated decisions about their business.
We're using OpenAI's API to generate creative starting points for marketing campaigns. Using information we know about our sellers, including their merchant category, recently added products, and metro location, and combining that with the intent behind each of marketing's campaign types, we're assembling prompts asking the AI to come up with a nice subject line and body copy for a campaign. This gives our sellers a customized campaign starting point tailored to their business and marketing needs that they can then edit or further refine.
Behind the scenes, we're telling ChatGPT and DALL-E all about the seller's vibes by adding the brand, product, and target audience to a series of prompts. For each prompt, we've also added some key descriptors that lets ChatGPT better emulate the brand and target audience that the seller selected. After we show a preview of the site, we send the seller into onboarding and bring them directly into Square Online to start selling online.
Amazing to see what our engineers did with that hack week. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Wittig. I lead our foundational engineering team, and I'll ask our 2 panelist speakers to introduce themselves. Alyssa.
Hey, everyone. I'm Alyssa Henry, and I'm the CEO of Square. Excited to be here today talking about AI and sharing some of the things that we've been playing around with internally using OpenAI and other AI tools.
Hi everyone, my name is Peter Wellander. I'm VP of Product Partnerships at OpenAI. So I'm responsible for taking a lot of the research that we're doing at OpenAI, turning into products like ChatGPT, our API, DALL-E, and so on. Super excited to be here, and really inspiring to see all this stuff that's being built here.
Thank you both. Peter, let's start with you. Would you mind introducing and perhaps elaborating on OpenAI's mission and strategy?
Yeah, sure. So OpenAI is a kind of a research and deployment company of AI. So our mission is really to make sure AI benefits all of humanity. So we're building towards AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is really kind of getting AI to the level where it can do most human work at the level of humans. We think there's like tremendous opportunity in that sort of technology, but there's also kind of potential things that might go wrong along the way. So a lot of our work is kind of focused on both really enabling all the positive outcomes you can have with this technology, while kind of putting a lot of work into safety and responsible deployment of this technology. So that's really how we kind of have structured and focused the company. And a lot of our strategy is really around, we believe that in order to, on the way to kind of building AGI, we need to really put the technology out there. And we do this through our products like ChatGPT, that is really an assistant to kind of make your work, assist you with your work and your life. And then there's kind of our platform products, our APIs, that enables companies to kind of build products that weren't possible to be built before, like Square is doing right now, and so on. And so a lot of our work these days are not only on the research, but actually putting this out in the world and seeing what people are building, seeing where the gaps are, and building the infrastructure where everybody can really deploy this technology in a kind of safe and impactful way.
Very inspiring stuff. Thank you. And Alyssa, would you mind discussing what you think the broader impact of AI will be on the economy and on small business?
So I'm super excited about this technology. I've been in the technology industry for a long, long time. You've been through multiple kind of major platform shifts. And I personally get excited when I see technologies that make something 10 times easier and or 10 times cheaper, or the combo of the two together. And so when I started looking at what OpenAI was doing, playing around with it, and knowing the problems and the struggles that small businesses have, it was clear to me that there was a real opportunity here in order to deploy technology to make things easier for small businesses, right? We know small businesses are pressed for time. They tend to be experts in their craft, not experts in business. They know that they should do marketing. They don't know how to write a good marketing subject line or generate the appropriate images and whatnot. And so when we looked at things like ChatGPT and DALL-E, as well as some other open source models, and started to look at how we could deploy and use this technology to solve real struggles that these customers have, that these sellers have, things that they know that they should be doing, but they don't have time. We can remove the friction, make it easier. Things where they aren't an expert, and you can start to deploy effectively expert assistance. And I think overall, the way we look at this is really, it is from the lens of assistance, where we never want to take the seller out of control of their business or their customer experience or that thing. But how can you leverage technology to reduce friction, to make everything easier, and so that they can be more successful at doing what they want to do and running their business?
Fantastic. And Alyssa, would you mind elaborating on Square's commitment to AI?
So we're committed to deploying technology in a way that serves and helps small businesses, right? And so, we started, the company started, with when the iPhone was first launched, right? And that was the original genesis, is how do you take this new technology platform and apply it to solve these problems of, frankly, access at the time. Many small businesses, small ones, actually didn't even have access to card payments because they didn't want they were mobile, or they were too small for the banks to say. So our history as a company, or even from our founding, is one of seeing what new technologies unlock and then leveraging them in service of customers. And so again, with AI, we see the ability to improve product experiences for customers, to make things easier, faster, more accessible for them. Frankly, we also see opportunities internally within our business. The Square ecosystem at this point is broad, right? We've got some 30-odd first-party products, but as Vijay showed, something on the order of 1,400 partner applications as well too. So when a customer calls into customer support, you've got someone on the phone that's trying to service and be an expert and provide assistance on effectively thousands of apps, right? And so we see opportunity internally as well to apply expert assistance via this technology, so that we can provide better support and better access, both for our first party as well as our third party ecosystem, and all together through leveraging it. So we're committed because we think it's a useful technology that serves our customers and can help us provide a stronger support and service to them as well.
Thank you. Peter, what elements of generative AI do you think will be most impactful for the SMB community?
Yeah, it's a great question. The way I think about this generally is that what technology has done is it keeps on kind of lowering the activation energy to do things. Like, so, that's what computers did back in the day. Like, suddenly a single person could do more with just having access to a bunch of tools on an operating system, word processors, Excel, these sort of things. And I think generative AI is this next thing that is going to be enable kind of small teams of people to do much more. And I think this is really, really important because it enables, in some way, many more people to kind of realize the dreams that they have. So if you're a small business owner, there's just a lot of things that you need to learn and need to get really good at, and you need to hire the right people, find the right place, the right place to kind of where you want to position your business and all these things. And these are complicated things, and it takes a lot of energy to get through them. And I think this is kind of where generative AI comes in. And it helps you in really two ways. One is making you more productive, and the other one is just making you better at what you want to be good at in some sense. So obviously, making you more productive, it's everything from some of the demos we've seen around generating product descriptions and so on, and answering customer emails faster and with higher quality and so on. But I think really what is powerful about generative AI is that they're these kind of reasoning engines. They're really good at taking information and kind of and processing it and giving it to you in different ways. So that's where it can really help you get better at what you're doing. That's everything from giving you feedback on something you're writing or something you're building, to I need to learn I need to grow my team. How do I interview somebody best? Where do I find them? And so on. This technology has an ability to kind of take lots of information that's out there, either the things that you've been trained on, or finding information elsewhere from kind of curated knowledge sources or in the internet, taking that and answering your questions in a way that's very personalized, in a way that you can understand it, and where you might have follow-up questions, you can ask them to this technology. In the past, you would need to kind of find the right advisor. We need to find the right expert to do these things. And I think this technology really enables many more people to get access. So it lowers the barriers, lowers the activation energy to just do much more things.
Just to expand on that a little bit, one of the capabilities in the Square ecosystem is banking. We talk to small businesses, and again, most of them aren't experts in business; they're expert in their craft. And so, for example, you go talk to a restaurant owner, and they'll say, "Gosh, I know I should be saving and putting away money, but I don't know how much. What should I be saving for? how much should a business like me, given the type of business I am and the location I'm in and all this, what should be the categories of things I'm saving for? What is a best practice in terms of how much money I should be putting away, right? For whether it be for taxes or the fact that at some point my dishwasher is going to break or whatnot. And so what we see is some of our early adopter customers are kind of going off and using these technologies on the side on their own, and they're kind of doing the manual integration of this expert advice and then setting up Square based on that advice. But we see this huge opportunity to really democratize and put it and embed in this expert advice into effectively just defaults, right? Based on what we know about a customer business. And the more you can put best practices into defaults, customers can still change it, but now you've embedded this expertise in a really powerful and meaningful way.
Peter, sticking with you, what in your mind differentiates Square from other companies in this space working on similar technologies?
Yeah, I think a big part of it is sort of the broad networking, the data that Square has built out. Because I think, again, in order to, if we think about this technology, it's a technology that's really good at reasoning. And it has a lot of information that has been built into these models like GPT-4 and so on. But that's in some way just to kind of to support the reasoning that it needs to do. And in order to make it really, really useful, you need to sort of connect it to data. And I think one thing that is generally hard is kind of when you have a lot of data. First of all, like getting the data is hard, but once you have it, making useful things out of it is tricky. And it's usually because as humans, we need to learn how to access it. We need to learn how to kind of cut it in different ways and so on. Suddenly, and it comes down to like interfaces. And what this technology can then do is to provide very natural interfaces for getting the most out of the data that exists. It's sort of like, instead of sitting like, picking stuff in complex user interfaces, you can have a conversation and ask the questions that you're wondering, and you can pull on all the data that exists to help you. So that means that if Square is already sitting on tons of data around everything from all the different businesses that are out there, what they're selling, and so on. And I think there's huge opportunities of essentially helping small businesses help each other in some sense, and like leveraging that to an extent where you can learn from what is successful elsewhere. But again, like that stuff was previously kind of really hard to realize through products and so on. And here, it can be realized by having very simple conversational interfaces. I think that's like a huge advantage and differentiator Square has. That's kind of one that I can think of.
Yeah, it's you saw a little snippet of that in the video, but the unlock on some of the reporting and being able to understand what's going on with the reams of data that any business kind of generates operating on the platform. It's hard if you're trying to go through and drill down, and business owners are not typically trained analysts, right? They're humans like the rest of us, and don't have a background in a lot of these things. And being able to just ask the natural language question that comes up and get a real answer and get insights out of that answer, I think is going to be really powerful.
And on that same theme, Alyssa, what are some of the innovations that we're planning for Square sellers in 2023 and beyond, and how is OpenAI factoring into those innovations?
Yep, the space is moving incredibly quickly, right? It was really, it's been 6 or 7 months, I think, since since ChatGPT launched, and almost every week, right? We were reading about kind of new progression in the field. For Square, we see in 2023, like we're learning, right? And we're learning alongside our customers. We're hearing what they're doing, where our engineers are playing around with it. We've reprioritized our roadmaps for this year. We've got 33 different AI-driven features that we're going to launch this year. And a lot of that is just to get started, right? I mean, some of them are relatively straightforward things like, item descriptions, suggestions and defaults. Some will be more complex, but we just want to get going and start doing it, and getting some of these tools and this technology in the hands of our customers and see what they do with it, because we think it really is powerful. And as we demo and show customers some of the things that we're working on or thinking about, and get their feedback and get their incremental ideas, we're really blown away with the use cases that we just keep uncovering, things that we didn't even think about, that just really remove a lot of friction, make things easier, and provide needed expertise. So we're excited about it. It's moving quickly. I think we'll know, 6 months from now, I suspect, it'll even be further different. But I think it is an important and critical kind of watershed moment in tech, and just a massive new capability akin to, the shifts we had, when we went from mainframe to client server, from internet and cloud and mobile. And I think this is another one of those shifts that will fundamentally rewrite what the technology landscape looks like.
Fantastic. Well, great discussion. Thank you both. Next, we have Amrita Ahuja, our CFO and COO, to talk about some key industry trends and Block's overall strategy. So, Amrita, over to you. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Amrita. I'm going to tell you a bit about Block. So what I want to talk to you about is what we're building, what we stand for, and the market opportunity ahead of us. Fundamentally, what we're doing, as you've heard so far today, is we're building tools to empower people into the economy. Our purpose, as you heard, our purpose is economic empowerment. Ultimately, that's what guides all of our work, ensuring that we're delivering value to our customers. We call what we're building an ecosystem. An ecosystem is a set of tools that work together to serve a specific audience. Square serves sellers. Cash App serves consumers. And our newer ecosystems are serving creators and Bitcoin developers and consumers. These consumers, as you see, have connection points, including consumers who use their Cash App debit card at Square sellers, and employees of Square sellers who receive their paycheck through Cash App. To grow these connection points, we acquired Afterpay. Afterpay is a buy now, pay later service, and we acquired Afterpay, brought them into our family early last year. Afterpay enables Square sellers to accept another payment type and gives Cash App consumers another way to pay and manage their cash flow over time. We believe by connecting these ecosystems, we can serve our audiences in more ways and also create more resilience for our company. So you've seen this slide, but let's start with the Square ecosystem. In 2009, we started Square with a goal of enabling sellers to accept credit card payments. We expanded the scope of our work to help sellers make more sales, leading us to create this suite of 30+ products. And as Vijay mentioned, these products address the 4 key capabilities businesses need to succeed: commerce, staff, customers, and banking. Our solution is integrated out of the box. So instead of sellers having to piece together a number of disconnected tools from multiple providers, we've given sellers time back to focus on running their businesses. We have 4 key priorities for Square that drive our strategy and our investments: growing upmarket, enabling omnichannel, expanding globally, and as you just heard, our new priority, integrating generative artificial intelligence into our tools and services. We're focused on serving larger sellers across 3 key verticals: restaurants, retail, and beauty. To serve these sellers, we've built software to meet their specific needs. These sellers often adopt more of our ecosystem as they operate more complex businesses, and there's more ways that we can provide value to them. With our omnichannel solution, we're helping sellers to meet their buyers where they are. We're connecting all channels across in-person, online, over the phone, social, and chat. This gives consumers the flexibility to interact with businesses how and when they want to. For global, we're working to reach product parity in our 7 international markets. We want all of our sellers to be able to access our full ecosystem of solutions. Over the last 5 years, gross profit in each of these areas has outpaced overall Square gross profit growth. Earlier this year, we introduced a new strategic priority with AI. We've already started implementing, as you heard, this technology to help our sellers save time, and we believe AI will be a massive opportunity for us in the future. Turning to the Cash App ecosystem. In 2013, we started Cash App with a goal of moving money between people instantly, a process that was previously slow and inconvenient. As with Square, we started out with one product, serving one use case. As we grew our peer-to-peer network, we saw that there are many other examples of how the financial system was unrelatable and inaccessible. This led us to creating a suite of tools to serve consumers for more of their financial needs. Today, Cash App offers 10 products that work together seamlessly across sending, spending, banking, and investing. These include free debit card, direct deposit capabilities, ATM withdrawals, paper check and paper money deposits, Bitcoin and stock investing, tax filing, a short-term lending product, savings, and gift cards. We've grown Cash App to more than 50 million monthly actives. We've been able to achieve this growth through the virality of our peer-to-peer network, which we can enhance with investments in our brand, referrals, and marketing. And as we've grown our network and our product offering, we've been able to deliver greater utility to our customers, which has led to increased engagement. Approximately 2 out of 3 monthly actives transact each week through Cash App, and approximately 1 out of 4 monthly actives transact each day. We've seen that growth, that gross profit growth ultimately correlates with the amount of money brought into Cash App, which we call inflows. Consumers can bring money into the ecosystem by transferring money from their bank account or by depositing their paychecks, tax refunds, checks, or paper money. As consumers find more value in our ecosystem and adopt more products, they bring more money into our ecosystem. On average, a consumer who uses our debit card brings in 2 times the amount of inflows as a customer who only uses peer-to-peer. Direct deposit actives bring in 6 times the amount of inflows on average. As we look to further grow our network and our ecosystem of products, we're focused on investing in 7 key development pillars. I'll highlight 3 today: community, financial services, and commerce. We're investing in community to strengthen our network and build experiences to connect consumers. Community includes not only peer-to-peer payments, but also gift cards, Bitcoin, and stock gifting, and family accounts. These products offer connection points across social graphs and drive more engagement and retention. We're investing in financial services relationships with customers to give them more reasons to use Cash App. We're driving awareness and adoption of our financial services products, which include today, as I mentioned, a debit card, direct deposit, taxes, lending, and investing. And as we increase engagement with these products, we increase inflows and develop more retentive relationships with our customers. We see meaningful opportunity to incorporate commerce into Cash App. We're in the early stages of building out these capabilities, but we think it has the potential to grow our network, grow our engagement, and grow potential revenue streams in the future. We're also investing in 2 new ecosystems, one for creators and one for Bitcoin developers and consumers. We acquired Tidal to serve a new audience in creators. There are many similarities in the needs of small businesses and the needs of creators. We believe we can help fill the gap in creator tools that exist today using existing skill sets and tools, our payments expertise, Square Online Store, cash flow management, team management, to name a few. We're investing in Bitcoin because we believe it has the potential to transform the global transmission of money. Our Bitcoin ecosystem includes a self-custody Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin mining system, TBD, an open developer platform focused on making the decentralized financial world accessible to everyone, and Spiral, an independent team focused on contributing to Bitcoin open source work. We're using our experience with developer platforms and hardware to build for these new audiences. And we believe these ecosystems can be meaningful opportunities in the future. We've talked about what we're building. Now I want to talk a little bit about our market opportunity and how we expand that over time. Square represents a $125 billion opportunity today, which we've grown from $60 billion market opportunity 5 years ago as we've expanded our products and the sellers we serve. This $125 billion opportunity includes software and integrated payments and financial services in the US and in our existing international markets. Cash App represents a $75 billion opportunity today, which we've grown over the last 5 years as well. This $75 billion opportunity includes our primary revenue streams today: peer-to-peer transactions, financial services, and Bitcoin trading in the US. With Square, we see meaningful opportunities to grow this addressable market as we invest across our 4 key strategic priorities and as we build out our financial services offerings. And similarly with Cash App, we think we can grow our addressable market well beyond the $75 billion opportunity it's at today as we invest in building out our offerings and as we expand internationally. Our emerging ecosystems have the potential to vastly expand our addressable market. As we build the title ecosystem, we have the opportunity to serve millions of creators in a similar way as we've served millions of sellers. And with our Bitcoin ecosystem, we're building tools for the millions of Bitcoin owners and for developers who want to build services for decentralized finance. And as we connect our ecosystems, we see even more potential to grow our addressable market opportunity. Over the last 5 years, we've been able to scale 2 ecosystems, resulting in gross profit growth of more than 45% over that time frame. We've achieved this through our focus on serving our customers, which has led us to create utility for them and resilience for us. So to close, I want to share with you the reasons that we believe we have so much opportunity ahead of us. First, we're less than 5% penetrated in our addressable market today, and we believe this market can grow meaningfully behind industry trends and as we expand our products and audiences. Second, our ecosystem of ecosystems approach means that we have shared learnings and tools and unique ways of serving our customers. Third, we're focused on efficiently acquiring new customers and growing engagement with them over time, which has led us to drive strong returns on the investments that we make, which then enables us to invest prudently in our businesses moving forward. And fourth, our purpose of economic empowerment means that we are customer-led and continuously innovating in order to serve our customers in unique ways. All right, that's a bit about Block. Next up, I'd like to welcome Lizzie Eisenberg, Head of North America Enterprise Sales for Cash App and Afterpay at Block, who will cover how Afterpay and Cash App fit in Square's long-term story. Take it away, Lizzie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. My name's Lizzie Eisenberg, and like Amrita said, I lead enterprise sales in North America for both Afterpay and Cash App Pay. Here's a little about me to start. I joined Afterpay as one of our first US employees 5 years ago, and I've lived in both the US and in Europe to help grow Afterpay and further our mission. Now, post-Afterpay acquisition, I'm a proud member of the Block team, and I love working on payment products that benefit both consumers and sellers alike. And as a former collegiate soccer player a very long time ago, I'm deeply passionate about leading high-performance teams and high-performance individuals to successful outcomes. So let's dig into the content. So first, as you guys all know very, very well, all great products exist to solve challenges. And a big challenge facing Americans today is equitable access to money. Based on major shifts in consumer behavior, it's clear that Americans want alternatives to traditional banking and more spending optionality and flexibility when it comes to their finances. Here are some stats to back that up. So 1 in 5 Americans, 20% of the US population, are unbanked or underbanked. Why? Because consumers view traditional financial services as inequitable, inaccessible, and untrustworthy. 36% of the unbanked and underbanked say they don't trust banks. Over 50% say that access to financial services is either inconvenient, limited, or unpredictable. And of this unbanked and underbanked population, every individual has paid nearly $3,000 in fees. Wow. So overall, US consumers, especially millennial and Gen Z consumers, are looking for new ways to manage and control their own finances. When we look at young Americans, they've adopted digital payments much more quickly than older generations. They're making at least one digital payment per day. And for millennials and Gen Z consumers, managing their money includes a long-term shift away from traditional financial services and embracing greater flexibility and spending by adopting new technologies to help manage their money. This shift also includes interest and usage in emerging currencies like crypto. So, for example, the majority of millennials and Gen Z consumers are willing to fully switch from traditional banks to peer-to-peer apps, and nearly half of all millennial and Gen Z consumers considered using buy now, pay later last holiday season. And a very staggering 97% of all crypto ownership is amongst millennials and Gen Z. So you might be thinking, why do we care? Why do these shifts in spending behavior even matter? In a study previously published by Afterpay, we saw that Gen Z and millennials make up 32% of total retail spend today. By 2030, millennials and Gen Z will account for nearly half of all retail spend. So we have to care. These behaviors matter because this audience matters. And at Block, we're paying close attention to these seismic shifts in behavior. As an ecosystem of ecosystems, we're focused on untethering people from traditional financial infrastructure and allowing them to build and store and leverage their wealth while providing more access to the economy. And Block acquired Afterpay to help strengthen its value to both sellers and consumers by connecting two sides of its ecosystems, Square and Cash App. Combined, our brands are the building blocks that are helping to expand access to the economy. And the Block ecosystem is united by a shared purpose of economic empowerment. You've heard it many times today already. Delivering more products and solutions that best serve our partners and consumers at every touch point. Square, you know it very, very well, helps sellers more easily run and grow their businesses with its integrated ecosystem of commerce solutions, business software, and banking services, whereas Afterpay is committed to giving consumers access to the things they want and need with the most payment flexibility, allowing them to pay in full or over time with both interest-free and interest-bearing solutions. And Cash App is focused on redefining the world's relationship with money by making it more relatable, instantly available, and universally accessible. Providing optionality and utility to our customers is our top priority, which is why we're winning in the payment space. Between Cash App Pay and Afterpay solutions, we allow consumers to pay now, pay later, pay monthly, and pay in store. Pay now with Cash App Pay gives consumers the ability to instantly pay. Plus, expanding upon commerce within Cash App, which Rita mentioned in the last segment, will further our goal to make money more relatable easily available, and instantly accessible. Cash App Pay also addresses demand from our very large customer base, as we know that 98% of our users want to pay with Cash App everywhere. Paying later with Afterpay gives consumers the flexibility to pay in 4 installments with 0 interest, which is our flagship product. And now, for larger basket sizes, we've recently expanded our suite of payments to allow consumers to pay monthly up to 12 months. Paying in store is easy with both Afterpay in-store card and Cash App Pay. The Afterpay in-store card helps drive foot traffic by engaging an online audience of shoppers, bringing them into retail stores using digital channels, compelling incentives, and strategic partnerships with malls and shopping centers. And Cash App Pay is available in-store for all Square sellers. So we're focused on these products because they represent the future. Buy now, pay later is becoming table stakes, and the market opportunity is growing, and it's gaining momentum. The market is projected to hit $51 billion in 2028. The younger generation is leading this growth of buy now, pay later, shifting their spend materially from debit and credit to buy now, pay later solutions. Millennial and Gen Z consumers are debt averse, so buy now, pay later helps them manage their money more easily and responsibly, and it helps them budget. Of course, buy now, pay later is not just for the young, and it's not just for lower income individuals. In fact, older and higher income demographics are some of our fastest growing users of BNPL. 71% of buy now, pay later users with annual incomes greater than $100,000 increased their buy now, pay later usage this past year, outpacing rates for all other income brackets. So speaking of the future, let's talk about crypto. So as Amrita stated previously, I quote, "We believe that Bitcoin has the potential to be a more ubiquitous currency in the future. As it grows in adoption, we intend to learn and participate in a disciplined way. For a company that is building products based on a more inclusive future, this investment is one step on that journey." So by now, I hope you've picked up on a consistent theme that you see in all of our products and services: inclusivity. As the adoption of nascent digital assets continues to soar, there's an increasing opportunity to rebuild the foundation of finance and making it work for all people globally. When we look at the number of Bitcoin holders today, the current number does not correlate with the highest GDP countries in the world. The US ranks 17th out of 26 countries for crypto adoption, and the crypto ownership rate in the US is 15%, which is lower than the global average. When it comes to adoption, India leads the way at 29%, where Germany is on the other end of the spectrum at 6%. Broadly, Bitcoin is growing, and Bitcoin adoption is expected to skyrocket to 1 billion people worldwide by 2030. As I've touched on throughout this presentation, and many of the other speakers have as well, Block is passionate about building a new and inclusive era for payments. We're dedicated to financial wellness for our customers and have built a number of features and programs dedicated to education, driving towards our mission to build an inclusive economy where everyone wins. From transparent and dynamic spending limits based on on-time payments, flexible spending schedules, to programs focused on strengthening financial literacy for teens and families, Block's consumer platforms are uniquely positioned to enable consumers through features and content that are used every single day by our active customers. And lastly, of course, we cannot make transformative change without you, our partners, and our seller community. Therefore, we know we need to make it easy and simple and seamless to work with us. You can access both Afterpay and Cash App Pay via a single integration and a streamlined contract. And we'd love to partner with you and continue building a better future together. Thank you. In our next segment, super excited, it's an interview with the seller, an app partner, and a solution partner on how they make the most of our ecosystem. So now I'll hand it over to our moderator, Mike Cohen, Global Head of Product and Strategic Partnerships at Square. Mike, you're up.
All right. Thank you all. Nice to be here. As Lizzie mentioned, I'm Mike. If you've lost track, I'm the third Mike up here today. And I'm really honored to be leading this panel today. All morning, you've been hearing about the power of the Square platform. And for our final session today, we thought what better way to close out than to hear from people who are using the Square platform to run their business every day. We're very lucky to have a really awesome set of panelists today. They come from a very different set of backgrounds. We have an application partner who's built a healthcare application on Square. We have a solutions partner who builds custom solutions for large food and retail concepts. And we have a local seller based right here in Oakland who uses many of the applications available on the Square app marketplace to run his business. So without further ado, please help me welcome John Bona, co-founder of Reference Health, Max, CEO of Monstar Lab, and Keba Conte, founder and CEO of Red Bay Coffee. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. All right, to kick us off, let's get to know you a little bit. If we could start off, we'll go down the line here. It'd be great to hear a little bit about you, your background, where you're from, and a little overview of your business.
All right, well, good morning, everyone. My name is Keba Conte. I'm the founder of Red Bay Coffee Company based here in the beautiful Bay Area. We were founded in 2014, started my first coffee business in 2006 in Berkeley, California, Guerrilla Cafe. And I've used Square in a lot of different ways, which we'll get into later. But Red Bay Coffee is a mission-driven, omni-channel business. We are a specialty coffee roaster. We're importing coffee from around the world. We roast it here, and we have 8 coffee shops. We have e-commerce business. We also have a B2B business. Our coffee is featured in many of the tech companies here in the Bay Area, as well as Whole Foods, Target, Trader Joe's, and whatnot. So those are a few of our channels, and it's great to be here. Thank you, Mike.
Great, thanks.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is John Bona from Reference Health. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. And I've been in healthcare my entire professional experience. Previous to Reference Health, I was at the Cleveland Clinic for about 13 years, both in revenue cycle and IT. And at Reference Health, we help Square integrate into a variety of different medical record systems and practice management systems, everything from medical to dental and veterinary care, for both single location dermatology practices all the way up to large academic medical centers.
Great, Max.
Thanks for having me. My name is Max Oglesby, and I'm the CEO of the Americas region for Monstar Lab, which is a Japanese consulting company. We're a B2B business focused on helping companies identify opportunities to grow, opportunities to overcome challenges that they may have. And we've been Square partners now for 7 or 8 years, I think, quite a while. A lot of the work that we've done together is focused on quick serve restaurants like Shake Shack or venues like the Chase Center across the Bay, and we'll talk more about those examples later today.
Yeah, actually, let's get into it. So,
Sure.
Question for you, we'll start off with you. How do you leverage the Square platform for your business?
I mentioned those quick serve restaurants or venue environments, and Often we're using Square's menu handling systems and payment systems. The differentiator that we found with Square is in the extensibility of the platform. And a lot of our customers are coming to us when the off-the-shelf solutions don't fit the bill. And so we look at a strategy with them where we could leverage a platform like Square and build that last sort of somewhere between 50 and 20% typically of custom software that creates an integrated solution that's specific to an individual customer's needs. At Shake Shack, which is a brand that most of you are probably familiar with, we built all of the digital ordering channels for Shake Shack over the course of about 5 years, so mobile apps, web. When it came to in-store technology, and this is maybe 5 years ago, we were looking at how to build a kiosk that would be bespoke, affordable, effective, and Square's reader fit the bill, and some of Square's menu handling fit the bill, and so that was an early and critical partnership between our company and Square. That platform has endured, and in early May, I read a quote from the CFO of Shake Shack saying that their kiosk channel is their most profitable channel and fastest growing. And so the ability to sort of merchandise in that visual environment of a kiosk in store is sort of outperforming what their cashiers are able to do. And it's just been extremely effective for them. And that's really, in my view, enabled by Square. If we tried to do that on a purely custom software basis, I don't think it would be affordable even for a company like Shake Shack to build that full tech stack and support it. And so that's really the power of the platform, in my view, is the extensibility and flexibility.
Great. And you mentioned large venues, Chase Center being one of them. Can you tell us the story behind that? Like, what was the genesis for that that deal, that partnership, and how did the needs of Chase Center, how are they met between the combination of Square and what you built for them?
Yeah, Shake Shack is an example where we brought Square to the table. Chase Center I love because it's the opposite. Square brought us to the table, so we're always happy when that happens. Thank you so much. The folks designing the Chase Center had spent like 2 years developing a plan for how they would serve food in the venue. And now I'm not going to name names of who the giant consulting firm is that they spent 2 years with, but about 3 months before launch, they figured out that none of it was going to work or it wouldn't work on time. And so from what I understand, there were some relationships between people at Square and people in that strategy team at Chase Center. And they reached out and said, is there anything you can do in quick turnaround to get us up and running as the Chase Center opens? And so we were lucky enough to get sort of dealt into that situation through Square. And in, I think, about 8 or 9 weeks, we're able to, using the menu handling, kitchen display systems, and payment processing from Square, develop a kiosk-based ordering solution for the Chase Center, which I think remains in use, and most of the orders there are going through that process. Just one other thing about that was interesting. After the Chase Center opened, we had a sort of second round of optimization where we looked at ways to handle the kitchen display systems and analyze the orders as they were being ingested. And I forget the exact number, but it's something like a 20% improvement in how quickly orders were fulfilled using some of the sort of analytics that we could do based on that inbound ordering data and instructing the kitchens how to make the orders in the most efficient way. So really a powerful collaboration, and the speed, I think, is another example of where that extensible platform is transformatively powerful for our customers.
Yeah, great stats. So it took another consulting firm almost 2 years, and it looked like it was not going to go well just a few months before launch. And then you came in a few months' time, you said?
I think it was like 8 or 9 weeks that we were able to turn it around. And that was based on the fact that we'd done some of it before. And so I wouldn't promise that we could always pull a rabbit out of a hat that quickly, but it was certainly a really great project for us.
Great. John, why don't you tell me how Reference Health leverages the Square platform?
Yeah, definitely. So with Reference Health, as I mentioned previously, we create and integrate inside the medical record systems various different integrations. For the most part, every single medical record system is a little bit different in how you integrate. But with Reference Health, we kind of handle all that integration mess for healthcare organizations and essentially create square buttons or actual native integrations into their medical record system. So it actually
Sorry,
looks
when
like
you say square buttons, you mean actually showing up a square button in the, where does it show up?
it actually shows up like directly in the user interface of the electronic medical record system.
Got it.
Yep. So for front desk staff, they don't have to really learn any new payment workflows. They're going directly in their medical record system, going directly to where they need to take a payment, and our application essentially creates these square buttons directly in that user interface. But with Square, we're leveraging both for in-person payments and also online payments as well. We're also for medical dermatology practices, leveraging both the catalog for both inventory management as well, and then also loyalty as well. Since a lot of these dermatology practices, they have a large loyalty programs. And so for those patients, to incentivize them to come in for those cosmetic procedures or for those retail products, they have those loyalty programs, and those are all powered by Square.
Great. Can you give us an example of a use case for Square that you've used with Reference Health to solve a need of one of these practices?
Yeah, definitely. So on the dentistry side, for example, we partnered with Mortensen Dental Partners. I have 150 locations across the United States. And we worked with their medical record system to help, again, integrate Square directly into that platform. And so for both front desk staff, they use Square Terminal to take all those online payments. We also leverage Square for both text-to-pay, online payments, and so on. On the dermatology side, just kind of give a quick example of that too. On the dermatology side, a perfect example is Vital Skin Dermatology, about 25 locations in the Midwest. And they're leveraging Square for a lot of different systems. So with Square, we were able to consolidate a lot of their products and services that they were using today or previously and leverage 100% on top of Square. So with Square, they're using that for both payments, their customer directory and marketing, their loyalty programs, and they're also their catalog and inventory management for both their Gen Derm side and also their cosmetic and retail. And they're also leveraging Square Online to help sell all those products. So with Square, we were able to consolidate all of those different services that they were using previously, again, all on top of Square.
Wow, amazing. Which products are you using here? So you have a lot of APIs. You mentioned Square Online. I'm curious, what's the breadth of the products you're using from the Square platform?
I would say, for the most part, a lot of our transactions are all based on top of the Terminal API. So we're leveraging the terminal device itself, primarily because we are operating in a lot of different environments and a lot of different medical record systems that we integrate with. So everything's from Windows to Linux to iPads, and the Square terminal really makes it easy for us so that we're able to leverage one device, one API for all these different environments that we have to integrate with. But other than the Square terminal, we're also using the Web Payments SDK for online payments, and of course, customers to catalog, inventory management, loyalty. I can go on forever.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
If I understand correctly, your entire business is built on top of the Square platform, right?
Yes.
So you're kind of a Square, practice, so to speak. Why Square?
So we previously have used Square in like previous positions, so a lot of it was familiarity. But for the most part, it's two reasons. One being the developer experience, but also the patient experience as well. So from a developer experience, and what kind of previously made us really want to use Square was that with Square, we're able to use one partner for both in-person and online payments. A lot of cases, we kind of have one partner that does a lot, mostly on in-person, and you have to use another one for online. With Square, we kind of use one for both. And so from a development standpoint, being able to only have to leverage one partner's APIs really helps out with the tech burden. And then given that we're a smaller team in a sense, it really helps keep our speed and efficiency up. On the patient experience side, there really hasn't been too many payment systems that have really focused as much as Square on the customer experience. So actually using the Square terminal, using Web Payments SDK. So that attention to detail and craftsmanship, you really don't see very many places. And for our customers, the healthcare organizations, that's the experience that they're delivering to their patients. And so for us, that was just a good fit.
Awesome. I'm biased, but it's great that you built all of that just on Square.
Yes.
Great to hear. All right, Keba, before we get into how you leverage the Square platform, maybe just to understand how your cafes work, how do you use Square?
Well, we use Square pretty straightforward. We have 8 coffee shops, including one of those is a mobile van. So we're out and about. So customers come, make the transaction. We also have some very busy cafes where we needed to move that line faster, so we've incorporated some of the third-party apps, order ahead, kiosk ordering, some more custom apps and that type of thing. But yeah, so we're at either festivals or out on site and mobile using those. We've tried some of the inventory and scheduling software. We use the marketing software as well, and that's very effective for us.
Great. You mentioned you're using some of the apps. Can you go through maybe a few of them and tell me how they're working for you and how they integrate with your overall Square platform?
Yeah, so one of the earlier apps that we used was Ansa. Actually, Flash Order was one, right? So that was the first one that enabled us to bring in a kiosk. So, it could break the line up, so people who didn't want to wait in line, they already know what they want. That also enabled our clients to order ahead. Then we wanted a full branded Red Bay Coffee app. So we got a custom app built by a company named Ansa, and so that was also another integration. We're actually using them both. I was really pleased on how seamless that whole process went. There was one little security hiccup that held our cash up for about a week, but we got through it, and we both want to protect our money, so that was fine. So those two, of course, I mentioned MailChimp is some of the email marketing program that we have. Let me see, there was another one. So Flash, Order, Ansa, MailChimp, and NetSuite. So we use NetSuite to do inventory. So when we're doing inventory counts once a month, at the last day of the month, across all of our platforms. So we're sending that data out and bringing it back in to help us manage our inventory.
Great. So a lot of different use cases. You mentioned kiosk. You mentioned order ahead. Are these things that have helped the flow of customers in your store?
Yeah. So and there was an important one. So there was different things that. So we have a shop at the Ferry Building in San Francisco. And very often there's a line out the door. People see me and they'll say, "Oh, wow, that's great. I see there's a line out the door." Yes, on one hand, that means we have a lot of customers, but to me, that means that we're too slow, or we're not being productive enough, or we're not processing those orders fast enough. And when there's a line that's down the hallway, there are people who just won't even get in line. They'll just keep on walking. And it's hard to measure that, right? People come, they see that line, and they just keep on moving. So it's hard to even measure how many customers that you're losing. You do see people occasionally leave the line. So in addition to some sort of equipment automation on the coffee bar line that we won't get into now, but by ordering ahead, that sort of helped, break up the line. So now the line just kind of gets to the door, and then people, are ready to jump in and hang in there. Deputy is the other app that we use, and that's also a third-party app that helps us do time and attendance scheduling. So, so that really helps help us effectively manage our labor count and anticipating labor, based on historical information that's gathered through Square and the Square's understanding of the history of our business and the seasonality and the foot traffic. Deputy, therefore, then gets to see and anticipate, oh, well, next week, here's the recommendation of the labor spread. So those are a couple apps and how they've impacted our business.
And it works seamlessly, I assume, with Square.
It does, yeah, Deputy does, yeah.
So question for you, same question I asked earlier, but why Square? What led you to Square when you opened your shop almost 10 years ago?
Yeah, so I mean, I was an early adapter, and but I've been an entrepreneur all of my life. And I remember in the late 90s as a visual artist going to craft shows and having sort of the old-fashioned emboss, put your credit card and make it emboss, and you're writing it, and you give them a slip, and you're
With
taking
the carbon
slips.
copy, the carbon copy you have to
The
throw
carbon
out.
copy, yes, right. And this was in Cherry Creek, Colorado, one of the top craft shows in the country. Saturday went well, made a bunch of sales, thousands of dollars on these slips in my pocket. There was a flash flood that came through. Tents are floating down. You could hear glass sculptures crashing. People are kind of running for it. We get into the van, and I'm pulling these things out of my pocket, and the ink is like running. And we would have just not had. You would have just lost that money, that cash, because there was just there was no backup. And so I'm here with them on the dashboard, transcribing these numbers, and is that an 8 or a B? So that's where I started. Opened up my first coffee shop in 2006, and I can't remember what we were using, but it was clunky, it was ugly, and ugly is important, or transversely, beauty is important, and design is important for Red Bay Coffee. I come from a photography and art background. Our chief of design is, co-founder is a design. So anyway, everything that we do is very intentional with design. So the system was clunky, ugly, not user-friendly. It didn't integrate with Apple products. It was, the back-end reports were just horrendous. And I remember maybe 2010, 11 or something like that, there was a coffee shop open south of Market, Sightglass. And I understood Jack Dorsey was one of the early investors in it. And it was a roastery and coffee shop, and so a lot of the coffee people were kind of showing up, checking this place out. And it wasn't open yet. You can kind of see inside, but at the door, they were, having transactions and ordering drinks. And, and I just went there, and that was the first time I saw it. And it was love at first sight. He spun it around, and, and tick, tick, tack, and it was just seamless and design. I mean, it was everything. So, we started using it right away. And it was user-friendly, intuitive. It looked great, integrated with, with our favorite technology. So that's why opened up another coffee shop, and then finally opened up Red Bay Coffee. And in those early days, I was still doing my art and fairs, so we were out there, also getting just squeezed by these big credit card companies and other processing companies, and it was just like, it was brutal. So it just solved so many problems for us, and we've just been using it and growing with it, and it was great to see how Square would sort of release updates and features just as we were kind of getting antsy and looking for that next thing, and it would be released.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to hear that we grew with you, and that it could be used at your art shows. It could also be used at a single coffee shop, and then as you grew to 8 locations, you use all these other partners that we have on our platform to help you, run your business. Great, we have just a few minutes left, so I thought I'd just real quickly ask each of you for your favorite thing about Square, and also what you'd like to see from Square in the future. Why don't we start with you, Max?
Sure, yeah, quickly, I think there's 2 things. First and foremost is the open nature of the platform and the extensibility that I talked about. In our call earlier this week, Mike, I relayed a story to you, though, that I'll just tell really quickly, which is there's something, to your point, about the aesthetics of Square that I think are really effective. Last week, I was with my 4-year-old in New York, walking down the street, and she was begging me for ice cream. And I was digging through my pockets, and I had $4, which I don't know if you've tried to buy food lately, but that is not enough for ice cream. And she knows what an ice cream truck is, and she's like, ice cream truck. And I'm like holding $4, and I go up to the ice cream truck, and the window's way up there, and I saw a Square reader, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be able to buy ice cream. Yeah. So I think there's like a really strong iconic thing with that Square reader that's really powerful, actually, and it's helped me buy ice cream for my 4-year-old, so that's great.
John?
Yeah, I would say definitely the most favorite thing about Square is definitely the ease of use for patients, but also the ease of deployment. So we work with a lot of large healthcare organizations, anywhere between 50 to 150 to 400 plus locations. And so being able to deploy Square at all those locations within only a few months, where for a lot of other organizations, it's in terms of almost a year or so, definitely helps us out and really is appealing for healthcare organizations to switch over to Square.
Great, and Keba?
Well, I mentioned a lot of things I already love. One other use case that really helped us out at a smaller coffee shop here by Grand Lake Theater. We have, 100 square foot, a very tiny shop, and we could only have so many people in at a time. So the mobile reader enabled us to go out. Right, we couldn't put a kiosk on the sidewalk, but so a team member can go outside and kind of So it's just those little things like that. In terms for room for improvement. One of the, big challenges that we have is the gift cards, right? People buy a gift card, but they want to be able to use it online also. And, so we've struggled with that for a very long time. So I don't know if that could be solved with a third-party app or, whoever, if because we're using Shopify for our website. But that would be a big one. In addition to inventory, better inventory management systems, and time and attendance scheduling.
All right, this is the right time to share it because we have all the product managers here, so we'll take note of it. Awesome. Thank you, all three of you, for being here. This has been really helpful. Really awesome stories about very different use cases of the Square platform, from healthcare practices to large stadiums to coffee shops. It's really great to hear the different uses of all the different partners from all of you that are here, your products being used by Square. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to Vijay to close this out.
All right. Give me a clicker. All right. Thank you, Mike. I'm always so moved when I hear folks from our community talk about how they've leveraged the platform and Square overall to run their businesses and meet their customers' needs. We covered a lot in the last 90 minutes, exciting updates on the progress of Square and our platform, inspiring discussion with some AI leaders, Alyssa and Peter, on how generative AI can transform the way businesses operate. An overview on Block from Amrita, our CFO and COO, a peek into how we're connecting Afterpay, Cash, and Square with Lizzie, and just now, a panel with sellers and partners on how they work with Square and the developer platform to build our partner ecosystem. I want to thank you all for coming, whether you're here in person or you've joined remotely. We could not do what we do without you. So thank you for the feedback, the partnership, the engagement. Thank you for your time. We can't wait to see what we'll build together. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for coming. You too. It was really.
All right. Well, thank you, Vijay, and all the speakers. So as you can see, we have a lot to look forward to this year. And so, so you have a little bit of time to do some networking now, and we will serve lunch at noon. And then our afternoon sessions will start at 1:30 p.m. And so we have some roundtables that's going to happen this afternoon. And then if you haven't done so yet, we have groups set up on the tables over there. So check what roundtable you're in. And then in the meantime, I hope you have a great time, do a lot of networking, and a good lunch. Talk to you later.